Hi, boys and girls. Today, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite places to go to visit in Israel. So, this is a map of Israel, and as you could see, the areas that are blue are areas with water. The biggest one being here, this is Yam HaTichon, or the Mediterranean Sea. On the Mediterranean Sea, there's a whole bunch of cities, one of which is right here, and this is the city of Tel Aviv. Morah Tova grew up right here, right near the beach. There is another body of water all the way on the bottom. This is called Yam Suf, or the Red Sea. What color do you think is the Red Sea? Do you think it's red? No, it's not. It's regular blue water, but they call it the Red Sea. Here is another body of water. This is called the Dead Sea. The reason it's called the Dead Sea is because the water there is so salty that you can never drown there. All you do is float, and they call it the Dead Sea because fish can't really live there. Now, all the way up here is a little sea. This sea is called the Sea of the Galilee, or Kineret. The Kineret gets its water from the north, from those mountains, and they go into a river, and it feeds the Kineret. The water in the Kineret is very, very good for fish to live. And therefore, because of it, there's a lot of fish restaurants around the Kineret and a lot of cafes, and people like to sit out in the Kineret. I love to go fishing in the Kineret. It's a great place to fish. It's a great place to hang out. There's a place of Tveria. Now, if you could see this picture, I'm going to go to another picture. Bear with me 1 minute. If you could see this picture was taken of the Kineret all the way up from a plane. So you could see from the top what the Kineret looks like. Here is another picture, so you could see it's a very big lake. And if you could see in the back, you see there's a lot of mountains that are all around. Here is another beautiful picture of the Kineret. The water is nice and blue with so many fish. And here, of course, there's more. As you can see here, there's a lot of boats on the Kineret. And it's a great, great place to go. So this is, if we were in school, we would be able to go fishing in the Kineret. So all of you can take some paper and make the Kineret. And if you have any magnets at home, you can make believe you're going fishing. And now I'm going to read a book about fish, one of my nice books about fish. Okay, so because the Kineret has so much fish, I decided to read this great book. It's called The Rainbow Fish to the Rescue. And there are a lot of rainbow fish books. What makes this rainbow fish so special? Look carefully. Yes, number one, it has a lot of different colors, like the rainbow. Their scales are all different colors. And one other thing that's special, he does have a silvery scale. So let's try to read Rainbow Fish to the Rescue by Marcus Pfister. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there swam a school of fish. Not just an ordinary fish. Each one had a sparkling silver scale. And that's all because the rainbow fish shared its scales. They swam together, they played together, they ate together, they even rested together, floating in the shadows of the reef. They were so happy together, they had no interest in other fish. So one day, when a little striped fish swam through their game of flash tag, they all stared at him. "Hey," the little striped fish finally said, "can I play too?" "It's flash tag," said the little fish, "and you don't have a flashing scale." "Do you have a special scale?" the little fish asked. "Do you have to have one?" "Of course you do," said the fish with the jagged fins. "Come on, let's play," he called to the others. "Don't worry about him." How do you think he felt? Then all the fish turned and went back to their game. Rainbow fish hesitated. He was afraid of losing new friends, so he didn't dare stand up to the fish with the jagged fins. Feeling a little ashamed, Rainbow Fish reluctantly swam off to join the others. So for a minute, he did feel bad. And he's feeling very lonely and left out. Just like when you want to play with a group of children and they tell you, "No, you can't play with us." The little striped fish floated all alone at the edge of the reef. He looked sad as he watched the game. The other fish were having such fun, darting and diving into the deep blue sea. Their shiny scales were sparkling. Rainbow Fish remembered that what it felt like to have no friends and how lonely he had been when all the other fish ignored him. He had been so proud of all his glittering scales that he had refused to share them. That was a long time ago. He refused to share them, and no wonder nobody was playing with him. But now that he shared, his friends, all they wanted to do is play. See, when he had all these scales and he was showing off and he wasn't sharing, they also didn't want to play with him. But now he shared the scales and they all play with him. Suddenly, a big shark shot up like an arrow into the middle of the school. It's not a school like Meg and David, it's a school of fish, which is a group of fish that swim together. The fish darted in every direction and managed to escape their hiding places. There, in the narrow crack of the reef, the shark could not reach them. They were safe, but the little striped fish wasn't. Rainbow Fish couldn't help being still. He was so worried. "What's wrong?" asked the skinny fish. "It's the little striped fish," said Rainbow Fish. "He's all alone out there. We've got to help him." With that, Rainbow Fish left the safety of his hiding place. "Let's go," he called. The other fish trembled with fear, but they knew what they had to do. They sped out of the crack after Rainbow Fish. They're all going after him. They soon saw the shark, and there was the little striped fish swimming and spinning away from his jaws. You see, he's trying to get away. Rainbow Fish could see that the little fish's strength was failing fast. "Hurry!" shouted Rainbow Fish. and all the fish swam together for the shark. This confused the shark because usually fish swim away. He turned this way and that way, snapping right and left until he was dizzy. The shark almost got the fish with the jagged fins, but he escaped without a scratch. Quietly, Rainbow Fish led the little striped fish to safety. "You were really brave," said the little striped fish. "Thanks for saving my life." Together, they watched as the exhausted shark gave up and swam away. When all the fish returned safely to the reef, they welcomed the little striped fish. "Why don't you stay and play with us?" Rainbow Fish offered. "How can I play flash tag when I don't have a shiny scale?" asked the little striped fish. "We can play fin tag instead," said the fish with the jagged fin. "Touch a fin and you're it." All the fish cheered, and then they swam off to play together in the deep blue sky. The end. So now that we read this book, what do you think? How did the little fish with the jagged fins feel at the end of the story? How was that different than the beginning of the story? You can take a piece of paper, fold it in half like this, open it up, and on one side you can write how did the fish with the jagged fins felt in the beginning, and how did he feel at the end. So to make a fish, if you want to draw it, you can make an oval shape like this, and then a triangle here, and then you add the eye and the mouth. And in the beginning, we know it felt very lonely, very sad. So you can write what it felt like. Maybe you can make a sad face. He felt lonely because no one wanted to play with him. But at the end, he felt differently. And then again, we can make the fish an oval and a triangle. Make the eye. This time he's very smiley because at the end he felt happy and part of the whole group. Thank you, guys. I hope you can really have a chance to go to the real Kineret and see all the fish restaurants and get to taste yummy fish. Bye-bye, everyone.